Recording.
Hello and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my friend Scott Townsend with us. Scott is a money coach. Scott, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why don't we start with the obvious question? What's a money coach? What do you do?
Yeah, so good question. So a money coach really helps people with day-to-day management of their finances, where like a financial advisor helps with more of the long-term investing, retirement. Money coach helps with the day-to-day. So it's really like short-term versus long-term.
I don't see anyone having a need for this service. Chuckle, chuckle. Well, all kidding aside, Scott, one of the things I've seen in my life is we just naturally assume that people learn these skills along the way. Most schools aren't teaching them. If you grew up in an environment that maybe your parents didn't have good money skills, I see it carrying over to the next generation and the next generation. Do you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not something we're learning in school. We're kind of just learning as we go, making mistakes and hopefully learning from them. A lot of us aren't learning from them and really are digging ourselves some holes and need some help getting out. So yeah, I think having a mechanism for really learning a lot of these skills early on can be really powerful for the long-term healthier finances.
Yep. So tell me about some of the things you help people with. Are you helping them develop a budget? What are you doing?
Yeah, so the focus is really major focus is cash flow management and budgeting, helping people with spending plans, really awareness around where their money is going, helping them put a system in place to track where their money is going, be more intentional with their spending, align spending with their values and what makes them happy, really trying to build their confidence with money and get to a better place. So that's one focus. Another is on the debt side and kind of looking at the debt that they have and putting together a strategy for paying it down faster, that sort of thing, and different ways that you can do that. And looking at credit reports and credit scores and helping people understand what is in my credit report, what makes up credit score, the different factors, different levers that they can pull to try to improve that score, especially for first-time home buyers, and ultimately helping people carve out more of what they make to go towards whatever their financial goals are, short-term or long-term.
I have so many questions. I don't know where to start. So
Awesome.
For me, a couple things. I find that before everything that happened, I would go to the ATM and get cash to go grocery shopping, cash for the week. Now I just kind of use my credit card. And I find that I'm doing a lot more impulse buying because I'm not pulling the money out of my pocket. So I have a friend that he keeps a little notebook in his shirt pocket. He writes down every penny he spends. He's like, that will make me think before I spend it, do I really want that coffee, that candy bar? Simple things like that are helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, the writing down in a notebook is building that awareness, right? You're always aware. If you're using a credit card for spending, you're just swiping and going. You're not really thinking about it. You're not keeping a tally of what you're spending. So that credit cards and debit cards really can be dangerous in that way. And so, one effective method is paying with cash all the time, which can be a pain, but some people do it and that is effective. But putting a system in place where you're tracking your spending regardless of that method of tracking, just building that awareness is powerful and can help you manage your money in a better way.
It's just we just don't think things through, bud. Lunch. Well, I could pack a sandwich, but I'm just gonna go grab something. And then you're looking going, well, I grab something every day at, let's call it $10. You're eating something cheap if it's $10 nowadays.
Yeah.
That's $50, $200 a month that you could have been using to pay down your debt or savings, right? It's it's putting mindfulness into it. That's a big piece of this.
Yeah. Mindfulness, intentionality, and really having that awareness is the first step, knowing where your money's going and then making intentional decisions and changes based on that awareness.
Well, it's kind of funny when I was thinking about talking to you because my niece was going through this. she was just like, she makes decent money. She's like, Uncle Kev, I never have any money. So I told her everything you just said. And on Friday, she texted me some bad words. Her thing, Dunkin's. She stops on the morning, gets coffee, goes at lunch, then stops on the way home. But now she has the kids with her, so now there's some munchkins involved. And she's like, my check is going to Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you. I know where my money is now. But it's the things like that we don't think about it. You know, it's a couple bucks for coffee 3 times a day. Adds up, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah.
No, but some people don't give a lot of thoughts to debt. You know, it's like, it's okay. You know, I'll just use my credit card, put it on my credit card, and I'll make that minimum payment. But when you're doing that, it's very costly with the interest rates, right? You got to factor in what the interest rate is, not just, but Scott, it's only $25 a month. That's okay. I can afford that.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, that interest is a killer. And you know, with clients, I try to paint that picture of, you know, making sure that they have the awareness around how much they're really paying in interest. I have, you know, a YouTube channel where one of my videos talks about, you know, the good and bad of compounding and credit card debt being the bad side of that. And that example of like you know, putting $5,000 on a credit card for that, you know, nice TV for your Super Bowl. Well, what did that really cost you if you're, you know, spending or just doing the minimum payments? And you know, it's that $5,000 TV can easily cost you $10,000 if you're, you know, just paying the minimum. So trying to build that awareness of, you know, what is the actual cost of something. You know, it's the key is making sure people understand and aren't just going on their way and swiping again.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about your program. How does it all work? So somebody's saying, hey, you know, I need Scott's services. How does it all work? You know, are there classes you're taking? Is it one-on-one coaching? Tell us more about how it works.
Yeah, so it's individual coaching for the most part. So I start with a 20-minute, you know, complimentary discussion, just an introductory call, get to know the prospective client, understand what issues they're having around money, what they're looking for some help with, make sure there's a mutual fit for coaching, and set expectations. Assuming there's a mutual fit, our first focus is a 2-hour paid session. We're focusing on their most pressing issue. There's some prep work that asks the client to prepare for a questionnaire and a financial worksheet, just to give me more detail on kind of what their experience with money has been, how they manage money today, but also kind of the monthly picture of you know, what their income and expenses is, their debt situation. So I take all of that prep work from the client and I prepare myself some strategies for that 2-hour session. And that 2 hours is really all about strategizing, setting that baseline of where they are, that point A, if you will, that point B of where they're trying to get to, and then strategizing around how to get them there. And I'm not telling them what they should do. It's really, you know, I'm facilitating the discussion, trying to see what resonates with them so that we can get on a, you know, put together a plan that is going to work for them. And the end result of that 2 hours is having that agreed upon plan to execute. And for some clients, that's all they need is that plan, and they can execute on their own. And for those types of clients, I'll touch base with them, you know, a month or two later, see how they're doing. But most clients need that guide to execute the plan, need that accountability partner. And so I have a coaching program to help those clients through that execution. And in that coaching program, it's, you know, maybe 3 to 6 months duration. I'm meeting with them for an hour a week. We're talking through everything that's going on with their finances. You know, I'm educating, I'm kind of guiding them, building up their confidence, and trying to, you know, the utilization of a system, trying to put that in place so they can get to a better place financially.
But I like what you said about understanding people's relationship to money. Some people grew up in an environment where they didn't have any money, and now that they do, they want to go and buy everything that they couldn't have when they were younger. So without understanding the whys behind it, it's going to be challenging to help them get to the point where they can manage their money. You must see that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And really it's so much of this is like personal finance is personal, right? Everyone's situation is different. Their background is different. What's important to them and what they value is different. And so trying to understand all those differences and trying to guide them in the right way that's aligned with who they are and where they want to get to. That's really important in the coaching.
So Scott, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? How can they learn more?
They can go to simplifiu.com at my website. They can also find me on Facebook, Simplifiu. And I have a YouTube channel where they can find short 5 to 10 minute videos on different personal finance topics and hopefully learn something from each of those.
Awesome, Scott. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to call into the show. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Kevin.